So what is the value of AR, augmented reality? So the value of augmented reality really comes from the way digital elements blend into a person's perception of the real world. Not only is a simple display of data, but through the integration of immersive interactions. Instead of reading a book, you can watch it, you can listen to it, or you can play it. Instead of looking at a 2D picture, you can rotate it, scale it, and move it as a 3D object. It really changes the way that we interact with digital stuff, and it adds an extra layer of interactivity and really complexity to the way we perceive the world. Because, quite frankly, we see the world in two dimensions and we interact it with the world in three dimensions. So, we're really touching on that idea of two dimensionality and space and how to marry that with digital objects that are overlaid through a visual medium. And so I really think that the value of AR really comes from that tried and true definition of AR. And if you haven't checked out the other videos on the definition of AR, I dive deep into that. And so feel free to check that out. But really, the value comes from the very definition of augmenting the real world. Not removing people from the real world, but augmenting the real world with digital assets to enhance how we interact with the real world. And so, as we get closer to that impending market boom, really it's going to be that mobile revolution. And much like we see with Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram incorporating AR, even things as simple as face filters and stuff. Really, the big thing comes from accessibility of hands-free mobile AR. And we're seeing hand tracking SDKs with Motion. I just have been working on demos with that one, and it's been very, very interesting to include it. And we're seeing low-cost AR headsets where you put your phone inside of a headset, much like a VR headset, but instead of it being a stereoscopic view where you have two different screens for for both of your eyes, we're really looking at a solution for a full screen view that you can really look through the camera into the real world from a screen. And it's a good distance apart, so you have a good focal length, and it works with any glasses or whatever. And so just a low cost headset, combining that with hand tracking, and you're able to augment the world through vision. And then when you have great apps that people can develop these experiences off of, then you have the opportunity to create these experiences that are very seamless and very accessible. Right now, low cost hand tracking solutions are just not a thing. They really just are not a thing. You have mixed reality headsets, HoloLens, Magically, you have the Unreal or the InReal headset. Like that's probably going to cost you $500. All the other ones cost a couple of thousand, and you really can't make it scalable. And so with the work that I'm doing, I'm really looking at image tracking, hand tracking, creating interactions with books, and having opportunities to work within space with digital objects and overlay sound and video to incorporate all the senses that I possibly can. Eventually, I'll get to smell. Still trying to figure that out. There really isn't many low-cost solutions for that. But making the HoloLens more accessible is really the goal. And so the value really comes from the applications that people make with augmented reality technology in a phone, and what accessories can be implemented to enhance that experience. Because all we're doing is we're enhancing the experiences that we already have. Books, movies, video games, all that stuff. When we add that extra element to it, it changes the game. Perfect example. When we have the Wii, it's a simple game, But because there's a spatial element to it, there's a physicality to it, it skyrocketed. Same thing with the Kinect. You didn't have to have a controller anymore. And now when we're looking at, in video games in particular, we're looking at the Switch, you're playing the same games. Instead of it being on a TV with a console, you could take it with you now. Like we're recreating the wheel. We're recreating it. We're not really recreating it. We're taking the wheel that already exists and we're just putting new rims on it. And then we're taking off the thread of the tires. We're putting new tires on it. And before you know it, we have a tire wheel combo. That's all just one piece. I mean, it's still the same concept, but it's a different phase of it. It's leveling up. And so the value of AR, really the value of AR is the applications and the usability of it. I will say that like cross-platform stuff, like WebXR and stuff, I don't know if that's going to be this. I don't think it's going to be the saving grace, to be honest with you. Like I really can't find myself to think it, because anybody that knows how difficult it is in web development, I mean, you have to be able to put 3D models on a website, and then you have to push that to devices that probably might not have the best internet. And so if you're not on Wi-Fi, if you don't have a good processor, all that stuff may be a problem. If anything, utilizing the devices that we have, smartphones, mobile devices, and just creating experiences that they can download through app stores, make it free, make it paid, however you want to do it, but you have to figure out that distribution chain that works across the board. And until people find that out, I mean, that's really what this value is going to be predicated on. It might be nothing, or it might be a lot of stuff. We just never know. And so if you like this, support your boy. If not, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in learning more about augmented reality, you can check out my free course. It's on Gumroad, focuses on art, tech, and activism in augmented reality. And it really is an intro course that teaches you how to make an AR app without code. Check out all my courses on Skillshare. Check out Doodle Live. Check out the AR books that I make with Eyeland Fever and Iltopia Studios. Support me on Patreon if you feel inclined to. If anything else, just follow me on social media. On Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram.